I'm very big on those horses, you know, landing in that stop straight, but being ready, being smart, thinking with their hind feet, moving those hind feet and placing them before they go. It's going to help them in that turn. I want them to be smart and rate and draw all the way through that turn, because that's where the misses come. If he hurries or struggles, we're going to miss that cow. One miss times three, you're out of the cutting. Or you have to come back and cut 2 more cows and really, really go for it. If I can teach them horses to think and be smart, move those hind feet, get a wide base and be ready to turn, they aren't going to make that mistake through the turn. After that cow pulls them back through that turn, then it depends on the cow how fast we need to go or how hard we need to ride to go catch that cow again. But I want them to always be thinking, stop, get those feet set before you go. Be smart and rate that cow through that turn.
And is there a particular exercise you do? How do you get them base wide or to move those hind feet?
I think a lot of it is I like to keeping that horse's shoulders a little bit closer to the cow than their hips. And what I mean about that is keeping this angle up into that cow a little bit. And what that does is this horse is a little smaller, she's a little shorter necked. What I'm doing is I'm making that move just a little bit smaller for her, a little bit easier for her. And what that does, it allows her to draw right here through the middle of that turn and keep moving those hind feet while she goes all the way through that turn. She wants to get a little bit fast, so I keep those shoulders right here. If there was a cow right here, I'm keeping those shoulders up against that cow just a little bit closer than her hip is. And then when she comes through that turn, last one I'm going to work here, a lot of you guys might know him. This is Fracker Brown. He's a 4-year-old now. I just wanted to kind of show you guys what I'm striving for when I work these 3-year-olds. I know they're not all going to be Fracker Browns, but this is kind of the finished product. He's a smooth as a cat stud out of Jitters Brown that I won the first go around in the futurity on him last year, Mark 223. High composite after the second go around going into the semifinals. He is a pretty outstanding individual. He's a pretty special horse to me. As you can see right there, he's immediately drawn through the middle of that turn, looking for the middle of that cow, being very smart with his feet. I'll step him back up. He's an extremely smart horse about a cow. When I talk about I want him to think and draw and rate through that turn, he's the perfect example of a horse that's just always thinking with his feet, always thinking about that cow, being very smart. Very smart right there. That cow stopped and turned away. He drew right back, found the middle of that cow, and did not make a mistake. Always thinking and reading that cow is the most important thing in a cutting horse, in my opinion. He's being real good right here. Now I'm just going to have Kelly come in and start moving this cow just a little bit for me, turn back for me, and I'm just going to find a spot to quit.
Well, my thoughts and the teacher I had, which was my dad, it's about teaching that horse how to control that cow. And to me, there's 2 ways to control a cow. You either got to rope it or you got to get far enough to the outside of it to make it change direction, to stop or to turn. And as I'm starting a colt and everything, as I go to getting him broke, the broker, you know, as he goes to getting sure enough broke, and kind of gets to getting a feel for that cow, I'll just track the cow for a little, just kind of get him cowed up. Then once he goes to cowing up, I go to taking him off of that cow. and spreading him out, which I mean by like moving him across that cow. I start with that cow's head on my leg, and then I go to the saddle pad to that horse's hip, and then I'll take him length off out there. And the further I take one, I'll help him back to show him to don't panic. You know, it's not about hurry. That turn is not about hurrying. It's about being patient and not panicking and wait till you get committed to a direction. Then we'll make our decision as how fast to make our approach. But if a horse is taught from the onset to get outside that cow, to stop that cow, and early on, the horse doesn't realize that it's become a job yet. You know, this cow's just wanting to run and run. It does no good to try to go stop her. So just let that horse chill and relax and travel with that cow till she goes running out of some energy. That turn, and if the cow's gone, don't panic. Go catch another cow. Because the instant that horse hits that stop, the first thing I want him to think is back, like that right there. Back to the cow. Then you step up into that cow and start the process over again. See, and as late as I was right there, not panicking, and backing up through that turn, I held him a little longer through the turn. Changes your angle, and you're right where you're supposed to be. All because I didn't panic. That teaches that horse not to panic. Because what I want him to know, if he gets it right, that cow's going to be where it's supposed to. And but the less things we got to think and worry about, the easier it is to get it right. It's pretty good. So what I liked right there was everything was hard and fast, but when that cow left out of there, he was under control, real patient. But that horse learns more responsibility, because Dad's words were to me that when you train that horse so that when somebody steps up on him and puts their hand down, that horse knows it's his job to go work that cow. And I was taught that if a horse don't know how to drive a cow, he'll never learn how to control that cow. And so what we mean by that is that when you drive that cow off to a spot where she can't go any further and she feels threatened, she's going to try to get away. And if a horse is not used to that, chances are it's going to get away. So you're going to have to run, catch, stop it on the other end or something, you know. And as you do that enough times, if that horse got any kind of thought process or any want to be good at all, and he will go to figuring out, if I get right here and get that cow stopped, I won't have to run all the way to the other end and catch her and then drive her back. So it's just part of the process of teaching one how to control a cow.
To raise a healthy horse, visit the website in the description box below for more guidelines.